This is my first time seeing you. Actually, my friends not forced me, but asked me if I wanted.
We saw the heel marks on the pavement.
And then I had a lot of questions.
You got dragged kicking and screaming.
I came to the gentleman standing here. I said, I know it may not be my turn, but I have a question. How would I ask Esther a question? I said, well, just raise your hand. I said, but she doesn't look at me that side. She always look here. And he said, this is Esther. What do you want to do? I said, I just want to let her know to look at the other side. But I said,
all right. Now so you get out. Yeah. We looked, we saw you're here. Was that the extent of it?
I know. I'm just saying that.
We're teasing you.
Yeah. I just felt that way. It's true. We should not tell Esther what to do. Yeah. But anyway.
Esther always says it's not up to me because she has friends, some people she recognizes, most she doesn't, who would like her to be the reason, but you're more likely not to be the reason if she knows you know.
Okay, so let me tell you my question anyway. I did not have a question, but I have words that make a question, and my words are these, and then I connect it to a question about stumbling in law of attraction, challenges and stumbling, because again, is related to my friend here. My words are love, my words are relation, my words are is interaction, and also the stumbling. My question is that if I believe there is no challenges, no stumbling, how can I make sure that the other person, I know that I'm going to pursue, that there will not be a stumbling?
Well, you can't vibrate for another. You cannot be another's point of attraction. But you can hold someone as your object of attention while you hold pure thoughts. Is not the best way to say it because people want to talk about what the pure thoughts are, meaning right and wrong kind of pure. But when we talk about pure thoughts, we mean not contradicted by you thoughts. Thoughts that are about what you want and no contradiction. And it takes you a while to find that sort of clarity about things. And once you find clarity about something, that's the best that you can do to exercise what humans call the power of influence, what we call the response of the law of attraction. Most people don't attract very cleanly because they think this way, pros and cons, pluses and minuses, yays and nays. And so they've got such a mixed bag that they call it and push it and call it and push it and call it and push it. If you want to call something to you, then you must be consistent in the way you feel about it. And the other's response is really not your business, but the law of attraction will bring someone or something to you that is a vibrational match to the reason that that person was your object of attention. Sometimes people will pick somebody out in the world who is well known or is famous, or somebody in their neighborhood, somebody that they want to attract into their experience, and they want to know, should I focus specifically on that person? And we say, as long as it feels good to you. It's a wonderful thing to use examples of things that you would like to attract. If you're talking about a love relationship and there are things that you like about that person, focus on it, and that person, focus on it, and that person, focus on it. Pick the best from everywhere you look and hold it in your bag of marbles. And when you do that, and only that, not contradictory to that, the universe will bring to you a cooperative component to all of those things in the form of someone that when you see them, you'll say, ooh, you are the one that I've been looking for. I thought it was that one and that one and that one and that one, but here it is this, you see. Is that what you were getting at?
Beautiful.
When you get together with another, don't ask anyone to be the answer to all your desires. Just know that all of your desires are answered. And don't put that responsibility on anyone, put it on yourself. So you can have all kinds of lovely partnerships. You can have intellectual discussions with this person and things that are so much fun with this person. And your life is a tapestry of so much co-creative experience. You can't make someone love you, but you can love them so much that they may start to love themselves, and then you might have a match going. But if you're loving someone so much and at the same time worried that they're not loving you back, your vibration isn't pure and you have no influence.
I believe in that.
Yeah.
What I want to also ask you, because since you mentioned about love and how love is within the law of attraction. I would
Love.
say, would it, I'm sorry to interrupt you, would it say, I thought the love is everything.
Love is everything. Love is only. When you think about light and source, there is only love. And then as humans, you experience varying degrees of what you are allowing of it. There is only that. Your inner being is only that. And when you are really in alignment, you feel it. And we want to blend two words together. The word love and the word appreciation. Those two words are so vibrationally intertwined that we can't find a difference between them. And sometimes appreciating or appreciation is an easier path to what you're reaching for, because love has been sort of misunderstood and absent. You think it's absent even though it's always present. Every emotion that you feel on the emotional guidance scale, there are many more emotions than this. Can you put it on the screen? You did it already. When you look at those emotions, we've listed 22, but there are hundreds, maybe thousands and thousands of words that describe emotions. But up there where joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, appreciation, everything else is just some degree of that. Everything else is just some lesser and lesser and lesser and lesser allowance of that. And your inner being is just always that. When you get to, have you ever seen the emotional scale before?
I haven't.
See, down here is fear, all the way to the bottom. Yuck, jealousy, yuck, 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 yuck. But look, here's revenge. Revenge feels a whole lot better than fear. So if you were in fear, we would say, yay, revenge. Yay, 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 revenge. But as you're moving up the emotional scale and you get here where you're feeling sort of bored, see these little words, they say tipping point. What that means is if you can get right here between boredom, which means you're not pushing against anything, and contentment, which means you like it pretty good, if you can just get there, everything else will take care of itself. Love is the natural extension of that. If you can just get there. But if you're pushing against anything, you are disallowing this thing that you want. If you're not pushing against anything, this thing that you want will come to you and come to you and come to you and come to you.
Thank you. That's the best gift I ever received.
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
We agree with you.
And you know, my wish was to meet you, and my friend said, you're going to go and ask a question. I said, I will, and that happened. Thank you.
See how it works? That's because things are always and will always work out for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of trouble in this room. You're feeling better though, aren't you? Aren't you getting this? Don't you feel a little more invincible and ready for more life experience, for more fun? For more hands in the clay, watching things coming about. So we want to talk to you about anything that matters to you. What we want is to help you to clarify, to purify, to clean up your vibration so that you are more often, more wholeheartedly advocating for yourself in the way that your inner being and all of us do. Self-interest is a real thing. You are self-interested, but are you a self-advocator or are you a protester against other selves? There's a difference. When you look at a world and find a piece of it that you disapprove of and you protest that or push against it, you are not advocating for self. You are working against yourself. You have muddied your own waters. And we know that it seems logical that you would do it, because nearly everybody is. Seems like that's the thing to do, to see it and say no at the things that you want not. And didn't we say something sort of like that when we said you're sifting and sorting and choosing? But once you have decided for a minute what, as far as you can see from where you are choosing, then choose that. Say words that line up with it and hang around with people who get that too. Don't run around the world trying to get them all to see your point of view. They weren't born to do that. They're not prone to do that. They're not likely to do that. And you have a hard time getting them to do that. And in the meantime, you point in opposition to what you want with what you think are good intentions, but it's not what we call win-win. What we call win-win is you deciding what you want, your inner being's on board with you. When you know what you don't want and know what you do want, you launch a rocket of desire, really a vibrational energy emits from you and is culminated because of the law of attraction and your inner being's attention to your desire or request into a cluster, into a vortex. It really does move like this, where cooperative components are gathered on your behalf. No matter what, no matter how big or little you choose them to be, they are gathered on your behalf. The question that this workshop will answer for you, if you want it to, is what's your relationship with your inner being and the gathering of all of the things that you've been identifying that you want. If you are proud of yourself and eager for more and easy to love and really scarcely to hate and mostly nice and hardly ever mean and mostly clear-minded and not confused that much and mostly an advocate and hardly ever a protester, if you are a yeser and not a knower, then you're living a pretty good life because you are in sync with your inner being and you have the juice of your inner being flowing with you and you feel clear and things are working out for you, and other people might not understand why it happens that way with you. One of Esther's grandchildren said to her on his first cruise, Esther has been on many, he came to her cabin and he said, "Why do you get the lucky room?" Because it was really big and really nice, and his was much smaller. "Why do you get the lucky room?" And Esther said, "Because I'm lucky." He said, "Well, how do you get lucky?" And Esther said, "Because I'm happy." And he said, "Oh, I've been happy, but I'm not lucky." And Esther said, "Yes, you are. Yes, you are." No. Right away, at his very young age, he's comparing Esther's apparent luck with his own and feeling that he was coming up short because the comparison just in that moment between her cabin and his made him feel less lucky. Well, that's a sort of human response to physical life, isn't it? Comparison with a sort of self-interest that could lean toward deprivation. But if you decide that you are the only one who can deprive yourself and that you are being exposed to experiences so that you can choose, Esther said to this little guy, "You know, I'm glad that you're noticing the difference. And I just want you to know that you can always choose. You can always choose. And sometimes it takes a while. When I was your age, I never thought of being on a ship." Now, Esther doesn't really like to go there with little ones. When I was your age, I'd never been on an airplane. Candy bars were a nickel in the olden days when I ate candy. But what Jerry always said about his grandchildren and about every human he ever met, I want them to know what their options are. I want them to know what their options are. And that's what you knew coming in. You knew you would be exposed to options, and you knew that you were unlimited.